In the United States, there are 16 states that have ZEP credits programs. The biggest one being California, the most important one, and many of the other states have modeled their program based on California's program. On this map, it's the ones in purple and dark blue are the states that have it. So you've got the entire West Coast, a couple states, 3 states in the middle, and then some states on the eastern seaboard. Okay. To go back to this chart, this is the state of California, and I believe this is from 2015 through 2022. Tesla has transferred 257,000 credits to other automakers. And when I say transferred, they have sold these credits to other automakers. And just as a reminder what a zero-emission vehicle credit is, it's not a tax subsidy from the government. It's revenue that other automakers pay Tesla and other companies. You can see that GM and Honda and Fiat Chrysler or Stellantis have also sold some as well. So it's any automotive company can sell these to any other automotive company. Okay. But Tesla in the state of California, since its existence, has accounted for 85% of all the credits that have been sold or transferred.
Well, they are the 5th largest economy in the world, so if they were a country.
Yeah, and the big buyers have been Toyota, Stellantis, Honda, Ford, Mazda, and GM. So even though GM, Honda, and Stellantis have sold some, they've purchased more than they've sold. Okay. So this is a chart that shows the transfers. There are 12 different manufacturers involved from 2015 through 2022. And I've highlighted the transfers that Tesla made. So in 2017, they transferred 88,000 to Toyota. Okay. And you can see how lumpy this is. And then in 2019, Tesla transferred 6,000 to Mazda. Okay. And in 2020, they transferred 19,000, almost 20,000 to a combination of Stellantis and Mitsubishi. And then Mazda came back in 2021 and took almost 11,000 off their hands. Okay. So how does Tesla get these credits? Well, when Tesla makes a vehicle, they get a certain number of credits. There's a formula for calculating the number of credits that Tesla gets. Okay. So this is for 2022. Tesla generated 626,000 credits in the state of California. Okay. Tesla only needed 9,600 to meet the state's requirement. So no problem. And so Tesla has in the bank, in their ZEP credit bank, 1.7 million credits. So even if Tesla never sold another vehicle in California again, they could potentially still make money on an ongoing basis from transferring these credits to other companies over time. Okay. Now, to contrast Tesla with another vehicle maker, Stellantis, in the same year, 2022, they generated only 3,000 credits, 3,337. But they had a requirement of almost 21,000 credits. Now, they would either have to buy some from another company, which they must have previously because they already had in the bank, essentially, in their credit bank, 68,000, 69,000 credits. So now at the end of 2022, that was reduced by the 22,000, and their credit bank balance now is about 47,000 credits. So they've been working that down. Okay. Now, the credits aren't just a US thing. There's also credits in China and Germany, and South Korea. They were just approved fairly recently to trade. This article said carbon credits, but basically it's the zero emission vehicle credits in South Korea And the author of this article, that I'm not sure where they got this estimate from, but valued at about 145 million just in South Korea. Canada has these programs. Other countries have the programs. Many of them are modeled after California's program. So even if in the United States that this zero emission vehicle credit system somehow went away or was abolished or whatever it was, it still exists in other places around the world that may or may not be affected by changes in the US.
Right.
Okay. Now, Tesla's revenue from this, as you know, is very lumpy. And last quarter, they earned 890 million in one quarter from selling these credits. And that happened to be based on the number of vehicles they sold, about $2,000 per vehicle Tesla earned in selling these credits.
Wow.
And that money basically is full profit in terms of it's pre-tax profit, but it's 100% profit, essentially. But going back in previous quarters, they earned as little as 500 per vehicle and as much as almost 5,000. Now, the credits that Tesla earned do not depend on the number of vehicles that Tesla sells each quarter. It depends on the number of vehicles that other car companies don't sell versus what their requirements are with these different jurisdictions like California and South Korea and China and places in Canada, et cetera. Right? So Tesla has these credits that it earns. It's cut them kind of in a bank, and they can sell them periodically to these other automakers when they need them. Now, this was an interesting note from Morgan Stanley recently. And they noted in here that Ford, in their most recent quarter in their 10Q, entered into agreements to purchase an incremental $3.8 billion of regulatory credits in North America and Europe. So Ford is buying these credits and putting them in their credit bank.
Right.
Okay. Now, it just so happens when we look at Tesla's disclosure, so this is Tesla's disclosure at the end of the year. This is their 10K that they filed in January. They basically said that they recognize the revenue on the sale of automotive regulatory credits, which we have negligible incremental cost associated with them at the time control of the regulatory credit is transferred to the purchasing party. This was their disclosure for many years. Okay, and they said deferred revenue related to the sales of these credits was immaterial at the end of the year. Okay. Fast forward 2 quarters later. Here's their disclosure now. As of June, total transaction price allotted to performance obligations that were unsatisfied with the original expected length of more than 1 year was $4.9 billion. They went from immaterial, basically almost zero,
4.9 billion
to 4.9 billion. And you match that up with Ford's $3.8 billion purchase. Tesla probably just took 3.8 billion of Ford's money, or a good chunk of that, right? I'm guessing. We don't know for sure. There could be another automaker that paid Tesla that amount of money. Okay. And of this 4.9 billion, they're going to recognize about 460 million over the next 12 months. Right? Based on, expectations from Ford or whoever it is that bought these credits.
Right.
Okay. So on this chart, this is the simplest chart I could possibly make. In the past, Tesla has earned $8.8 billion of regulatory credit revenue. They've got sitting in their regulatory credit bank, I'm calling it, almost 5 billion more. It's 55% more. So for those people that think regulatory revenue is going away, it's not. Now, I suppose if it was abolished tomorrow, then some of this 4.9 billion might disappear, because if the rules don't require it anymore, then Ford wouldn't have to pay it. So this money isn't risk-free necessarily. Things could change. But the point is that these automakers are still not meeting the requirements that they need to meet. So they have to buy these credits. So as long as this system still exists in places around the world, Tesla is going to earn a decent chunk of money in selling these.
Now, would BYD also be someone who is generating credits?
I would think so. Yeah.
Or they also sell some hybrids. I don't know what happens with hybrids, but so anybody who's making low emission cars and selling them in certain jurisdictions would be generating the credits. But sir, let me ask you this question, which has bothered me for a long time. Maybe you have the answer. What does a company do? What does Ford do if they don't buy them from Tesla? Are they able to just fork the money over to a government?
Well, they wouldn't be in compliance with the rules, and I don't know what the penalty would be in that case.
I see.
I would imagine that the penalty is probably greater than the cost. That's why they buy them from Tesla. Because I'm pretty sure that Ford doesn't really want to give Tesla $3.8 billion.
Right. Their preference would not be that.
Right. But the penalties must be greater than that. And I don't know what those look like.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing there must be some kind of a stick there, because the carrot of buying it from Tesla is better than the stick from the state.
Yeah. And that might be it might also be I've always thought it might be a negotiated number, so that Tesla is putting it out there. We've got these regulatory credits right now. They're at $1 a piece or whatever. Yeah. And then they need the money. So they say, oh, well, we'll go down to 90 cents. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. We haven't seen any information on how that works. Tesla certainly has a ton of credits in California. Right now, the whole state of California is looking pretty good in terms of compliance. There's excess of credits, mostly because of Tesla.
Right.
But there are a few companies here and there that need to buy them periodically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So just trying to shed a little bit more light on this regulatory credit matter, and hopefully we'll learn more as time passes.